Hello YouTube family, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Sharita and welcome. And for today's video, we have taken a little trip to a nice cozy autumn cabin. And without a doubt, this is the video that I anticipate the most, that I am so excited to do every year. My official top fall fragrances video. And today, honey, we don't have not 10, we have 15 phenomenal fragrances. So if you are in the market for a stunner, your girl has got some finds for you. We have a lovely mix. This is, I would say, more so mid to high end. If you are a budgetnista, fear not, the affordable fall fragrances video will follow, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'm so excited to go ahead and get into it, you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so if this is your first time here, or if you have been enjoying the content, just a gentle reminder, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you find any value in the content, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up, and why not hype me up. So the first one I want to get into, y'all have been on my behind, on my neck about this first fragrance. I've had it for a couple weeks now, and I have been hoarding and holding this new NAVITUS release done in collaboration with our queen Sheree Lewis. What can I say? ÉLAN Noir is absolutely beautiful. I think that if you love cherry, you are going to vibe with this fragrance. She's very sexy, very grown up, and I just could not believe how juicy this thing, like my mouth is watering just thinking about it. It's very juicy. So if you love cherry, if you love a woody fragrance, I think that this is absolutely a gorgeous find for this season. So this fragrance starts out really bright, really juicy, bright burst of cherry, quite sweet, but you start to get something juicy outside of the cherry peek through, and it is going to be a peach. It doesn't stand out as peach, but you're going to say this cherry is giving cherry, but what else fruity is this going on? And it is a really beautiful peach note. I think that if you are not a fan of peach, fear not, because the cherry is without a doubt front and center. It's just made extra fruity, sweet, and juicy because it is paired with another fruit. Also, you do have a prominent rose. So this fragrance has cherry in the top, the mid, and the base. So it is without a doubt one for the cherry lovers. But when this starts to dry down on the skin, you're going to get a very prominent sandalwood. So I think that you do have to love something really sexy and woody, because at least on my skin, the woodiness really does become full body as this starts to, you know, develop on the skin. So I think currently this is sold out. I hope they restock it, and there are no guarantees, okay? Because once that 30% runs out with that special introductory promo for launch ends, sometimes that's it. I know for mine personally, they bought it back, but there are no guarantees. So keep your eye on this one. Once it is restocked, I highly recommend you check it out. I would assume Neiman's will be carrying it soon, but job well done, Sheree. I'm absolutely loving this creation. This one again is ÉLAN Noir, and this is from the house of NAVITUS. Now this next fragrance is a new drop to Sephora. When I tell you, I didn't know what to expect, okay? But I knew that Sir Chris Collins was about to give us a banger for fall. And when I say he did, I finally have an apple fragrance in my collection that I love. I have smelled so many over the years. I don't have one in my collection that features an apple. And even though I've smelled plenty, that's not my scent profile. It's not my cup of tea. And a lot of the times they just get a little too playful, youthful, girly. This is so well balanced with a really true front and center apple, but also with a really grown up warmth and sensuality to it. And this is going to be perfect. As you can see from the dent, okay? This has only been in my collection for under a week, and she's already got a dent, and that's going to speak to how obsessed I am with the way this smells. If you love gourmand, if you love sweet, if you want something that's just a little romantic and sensual, then Forbidden Apple is going to be a must-have, or at least a must-try for this fall season. So Forbidden Apple Croque Moi features notes of red apple, pomegranate pulp, warm woods, and a rich bourbon vanilla. There is something that wears just soft and luxurious about about it, but this is without a doubt apple gourmand in a very, you know, we're talking 30 and up way. And I'm not saying that someone in their 20s cannot vibe with this one and wear it, but this is just so beautiful. It's indulgent, and again, a must try. Pop into Sephora if they have these on display and try it, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. You don't have an apple quite like this one in your collection. Again, this is from the world of Chris Collins, Forbidden Apple Croque Moi. Now next up is from the house of Thana. This is a house that I have talked about, I think, one other fragrance from, but y'all have been asking me, please do a full review of the house and all of this. Like, I'm telling you, the house has so many stunning scents, but I do want to focus on ones that I'm just a lot more familiar with. And this is one that I sampled and immediately I had to get a full bottle. So Scent Split actually sent me over the sample. I said, this is the one that stands out, and they were so kind enough to gift me Yves Teton. I hope I'm saying that right, but Thana Perfumes, they come with the luxury. Like, the details on these bottles, I wish you could just see it in person. There are like studs around here, and I mean, just absolutely stunning packaging. But the scent, this also features the apple, all right? But you have a really luxurious tobacco and a prominent star anise note. So if you love comforting, spicy tobacco fragrances that fare on that much sweeter side, and if I had to say if it leans one way or the other, even though this is featuring some really aromatic notes, some really spicy notes, this leans just a touch feminine because it is so sweet and delicious. So this one opens with notes of apple, smoke, and cinnamon. You have middle notes of clary sage, oak moss, and tobacco, and you have base notes of vanilla and anise. I think this is a really soft, spicy fragrance. You do get the cinnamon, you do get the anise, but it's not overly punchy. And I think that the way they have intertwined the smoke with the vanilla, it's just beautifully balanced. And like Shabab, another one that I have from this house, the Performance, on 10. Okay, so if you want something that lasts long, that performs, soft, warm, spicy, luxurious, date night appropriate, this one is one I highly recommend you check out. And again, this one is Yves Teton, and this is from the house of Thana. Next on this list is a perfectly powdery, feminine, luxurious vanilla that it really does truly smell like $1,000,000, because you already know what I'm gonna say. The house of Guerlain does vanilla like nobody else, and you're going to smell stunning. This is Shalimar Les Encens, and I have been holding this one hostage. I got this as soon as it was released on the Guerlain website. Many of you also did, and I mean, this exceeded my expectations. You are getting the same type of vanilla that they have in this $600 plus Vanille Planifolia, one of my favorite Guerlains of all time. The way they have carried out the vanilla, very similar. Okay, now this one is not going to wear quite as loud and as long lasting, but for this price point, I'm not mad at it. This one is just going to be a lot more feminine because you do introduce that Shalimar DNA deep down in there. Okay, first and foremost is the vanilla, but underneath that you still get the beautiful components of a Shalimar fragrance. And I just love that they, to my understanding, have made this a part of their permanent line. So if you have been curious about how does, you know, Guerlain really do their vanillas, the arts and materials just way too pricey for you typically, start here, because I think once you actually smell this, you're going to be gobsmacked and you're going to want to really dive into this house as a whole. So Shalimar Les Encens features notes of Madagascar vanilla, vanillin, iris, musk, and rose. Again, if you love vanilla, you love it musky, powdery, you cannot go wrong with this one. And I just love that this is not overly floral in an orange blossom white floral type of way. This really is about that gorgeous iris and a really well done vanilla. Job well done. Again, this one is Shalimar Les Encens, and this is from Guerlain. Next up is a new release. I think this is like fresh off the press, available on the Bond website, but OMG is all I can say about New York Chic. This is really unisex, it's really bold, it's dark, it's sexy, and it features a gorgeously done oud. You do get a little bit of that, you know, Bond DNA in there, but I mean that in the best way. This is, I mean, oh my God, this is really warm, it's intoxicating, and you get a lot of Havana in this fragrance. I do think you have to absolutely love that note, because baby, when I say this Havana is hitting, she is front and center, and I love that note in perfumery. So this one one is a really gorgeous take on tobacco. So I think out of anything, you're going to get a lot of HAVANA, tobacco, a boozy aspect from a gorgeously done cognac note. And I'm saying this cognac, baby, she is so smooth. I mean, this is probably like that $2,000 bottle cognac, if I had to guess, but it's gorgeous. I think the oud in here is done with just a lot of care. This oud does not get weird or dirty or barnyardy. Almost comes off as something just like this smooth, woody, dark, chocolatey type of wood note. That's how it smells to me, especially, you know, once you couple it with the tobacco leaf. So this one opens with notes of tobacco leaf, heliotrope, and HAVANA. You have middle notes of immortelle, tuberose, and cognac, and you have base notes of tobacco leaf, patchouli, musk, and oud. Again, this one is New York Chic by Bond No. 9. Next is another cherry. If you don't know nothing else, baby, the year of 2025 has been all about cherry. It's been all about vanilla. So I have a Scent Cherry, and this is a new release from Scentologia, and this is a Scent Split exclusive. This one was also sent over to me from Scent Split, and I mean, I was just absolutely wowed. And this one, I'm gonna go ahead and put on that pedestal and say this is probably one of my top 5 cherries in my collection, and I have a ton of them right now. Cherry done in a way that, I mean, this cherry truly shines, and I am just loving the way that they have blended it with other fruits, but those fruits are definitely just helping everything feel a lot more juicy. This one, again, my mouth is just watering smelling this one, and I think if you love cherry, oh my god, and you want something that performs beautifully, that's got like a little woodiness, a little mossiness to it, you will really enjoy this one. Now, when I first smelled this, I'm like, oh my god, is there a saffron in here? Because something about it, deep down in the background, in the DNA, I was getting this small hint of like a baccarat rouge. And no, it does not smell like baccarat, but there were these elements, and I just assumed, okay, maybe there's a saffron in here, but it's not. It's an amber and a moss in the base, and the way that the moss and amber mingle in this fragrance will remind you of the way that it's done in baccarat. But this is without a doubt like a cherry scent, so don't think you're gonna get some baccarat dupe. It's not gonna necessarily remind you of it, but you know, my nose gets to smell it, and I'm trying to dissect this fragrance down to the note. But it's beautiful because you have a cherry, but I almost want to say that this is sharing a spotlight with mango. This one is so good. So Scent Cherry opens with notes of cherry, pear, blackcurrant, and raspberry. You have middle notes of Palo Santo rosewood, violet, mango, rose, and jasmine, and you have base notes of amber, vanilla, caramel, moss, cedarwood, musk, and patchouli. If you're looking for something slightly woody, a touch mossy, very sweet cherry, but not syrupy, not medicinal, just really well executed, this is the one you really do need to check out. It's not going to wear as woody as ÉLAN Noire, but I just think that this is so beautiful. Cherry is the star, and cherry you're going to get from the top to the bottom of the smell. Absolutely a banger. And again, this one is Scent Cherry from the house of Scentologia, and again, a Scent Split exclusive. And don't forget, you all, just a reminder, when you are shopping a lot of these fragrances, you can save 10% when you shop Scent Split, and Scent Split is going to have the decants of all the sizes. So I'm going to say a lot of these are not blind buy save. Try before you buy if you can, and Scent Split is always a great resource to do that. And then spin the block for the full bottle, all right? So this next one, oh my god, like, I don't understand where they get the concepts for these bottle tops, but can you, like, this is literally like volcanic lava or something that they have molded for these tops, and this Bow Cosmos packaging is top tier. So this fragrance, it does lean masculine, so I'm gonna start with that. Oh my god, but this is so unique, very like metallic, volcanic, mysterious, beguiling, sexy, but with some like gourmand facets that give it a little touch of sweetness. Usually I'm not one that can vibe with metallic scents. I think they had another one that I tried, was it Casablanca from the house, that features a really prominent mineral or metallic note. I just really couldn't vibe with it, but this one I can actually get down with. This is really, really beautiful, you guys. But again, it does lean very masculine. When I wear this, I wore it the other day and I layered it with a Amani Casanade, and it was the sexiest combo that you could ever imagine. So this one opens with notes of metallic notes, musk, praline, and whiskey. You have middle notes of coal, cacao, dragon blood resin, and you have base notes of orris, leather, smoke, and agarwood. What I appreciate about this scent is with all those complex notes that I just named, when I tell you this is a blend like no other, it's blended to perfection. You do get these like really deep dark chocolate nuances, and the sweetness from the praline is just, it's sending me. This is one, like if a guy wore this around me, not playing safe, not playing safe. Beautiful. If you love masculine fragrances, I highly recommend it. It is very unisex, but I do think you have to love fragrances that lean more masculine than feminine or middle of the road unisex. But this is a stunner. Performance on 20. Stunning release, all right? Again, this one is Cosmos from the House of Beau. Now I know I'm hitting y'all over the head with all these very, very, very pricey niche fragrances, but we are about to hold up a designer. When I tell you, I knew they were gonna do me right. I didn't see any mention of patchouli in this fragrance, and they had this stunningly gorgeous like ombre pink bottle. I just said, let me blind buy it. La Vie Belle, yes, an actual La Vie Belle in my collection. This is Vanille Nude. This is going to give you a DNA, okay, dialed back DNA of something that we are just all very familiar with as far as La Vie Belle. So you're going to get that, but in a really non-intrusive, non-offensive way, because I do not like the original fragrance. I do not. But this is an ode to vanilla, and therefore I am loving it. If you want something that is cozy, it wraps you in like this sweet comfort, and you love vanilla gourmand fragrances, this is beautiful. It's done with this soft touch, and I don't mean soft in a skin scent way. I just mean the way that they have carried it out, because designers, they can get really OD with the sweetness, gourmand notes, the loudness, the way that it wears. This is done in a really thoughtful way, and it's floral, it's vanilla, and it's very cozy. So this one opens with solar notes, jasmine. You have middle notes of bourbon vanilla, base notes of white musk and sandalwood. You're going to get something that smells white floral, but it's not going to be super heady. The powderiness, the solar quality of this, it keeps it really bright. So even though I'm saying it's sweet, it's gourmand, very well balanced, okay? You do have to like it powdery. You do have to like it sweet, but I think if you love those elements of a fragrance, you cannot go wrong with this one. Job well done. This for me is giving like black opium, a la parfum to black opium. That is what this is to a La Vie Belle. I mean, they just did it for me. They nailed it, and I cannot recommend this one enough. Again, this one is La Vie Belle Vanille Nude from the House of Lancôme. Now let's get into a heavy hitter unisex banger. That was a risky blind buy, but I don't know, honey. When I saw this bottle, I was like, we're gonna have to take a chance. I think I watched Arahi's review on this one a few weeks ago, and the way she described it, I just said, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a chance, because my intent was to stop into a mall, a store, and smell it. Child, I have not been to the mall in months, and nor do I care to take a trip down to Lenox Mall or Phipps Plaza to try to get my nose with it. So I just blind bought it. And when I tell you Havana Gold by Dries Van Noten did not disappoint. This is like anyone put it on, okay? Whoever wants to smell sexy that day, that night, put it on. You're gonna smell amazing. And I think that even though this is going to lean ever so slightly masculine, it's not going to be overly so. It's not going to be too much, but I do think you have to love a beautifully dried tobacco. There is enough sweetness to counter it, to balance it out, but this is, oh, I mean, this is taking me back to literally Cuba. My vacation to Cuba, we got to like see where the cigars were made and the process and all of that, and just stepping into, you know, the outdoor area where they house all of the tobacco leaves. You see them drying out and aging. Honey, this one is unlocking a memory for me. And it's also going to make you think, cigar lounge, y'all are dressed up in like the sexiest wear, and you are just enjoying the company of another, okay? So the opening notes for this one is star anise, licorice, and mandarin. You have middle notes of cinnamon, benzoin, and tobacco, and you have base notes of leather, cypriot, L'Oreal and Tonka Bean. The leather for me started to rear its head a little bit more as it really entered that final dry down. So when they're mentioning this leather in the base, it really is in the base. You're going to get a little bit of it, you know, in the opening when you first spray it, but it really does come like front and center when you reach, I would say, after like that 4 or 5 hour mark. This one lasts all day wear, 10, 12, 16. Like, this is a scent you spray it on your clothes. You're gonna have to wash your garment to kind of just get that scent out. You are going to get quite a bit of licorice. I think that the spicy notes, like the star anise, the cinnamon, very smooth, and I don't think they just jump out at you. They're not punchy spices. They're just really wrapped up in those tobacco leaves and the sweetness of a gorgeously done benzoin. So if you are in the market for a new tobacco honey, because nothing says fall like a stunning tobacco scent, then I highly recommend you check this one out. Again, Havana Gold from Dries Van Noten. So next up is from the House of Mind Games. When this was released, the set, because I know Queen Side and King Side came out as the pair, and just listening to the names, I'm thinking, okay, Queen Side is gonna be for me. But the consensus from a lot of the ladies, actually, as I watch reviews, they said they actually preferred King Side. When I got it, it wore very differently from what I thought I was going to get. I thought I was going to get something along the lines of unisex, but leaning just a lot more masculine. To me, this one leans just a touch more feminine. So this was sent over to me from So Avant-Garde. A huge thank you to them, because this one has been on my radar since it was released. So this fragrance is a gorgeously done, nutty, creamy, sweet concoction that is very gourmand. This one has it's Tonka Bean heaven is how I would describe this, and it's balmy, but there is something like almost frothy and whipped about it. Like, if you didn't tell me, like, did y'all whip like marshmallow fluff into the fragrance, because it wears with a fluffy cloudiness that I just like. This almost doesn't smell like a Mind Games fragrance, because I have not seen them do a scent quite in this direction. The way they've carried it out was really surprising to me, but in the best way possible, and I'm so here for it. So this one opens with notes of pistachio, cardamom, and grapefruit. You have middle notes of hazelnut, rum, and peony, and you have base notes of almond milk, Peru balsam, and Tonka Bean. Okay, now that I'm actually looking at the notes, you are probably getting that frothy lactonic thing from the almond milk. I did not occur to me, because I didn't look at the full breakdown of notes before I actually filmed. So you're getting something that's like creamy pistachio, cardamom, and I know I'm mentioning like hazelnut, like all of these nuts, but it doesn't wear overly nutty. It doesn't wear weird. It wears spectacularly well, and this is an elevated gourmand that I think anyone could enjoy. Again, to me, it actually leans a little bit more feminine, and we're talking the realm of unisex. If I had to pick one way or the other, just slightly more feminine. Okay, this is going to be, to me, almost like a really grown up, a little bit more sophisticated version of like a Yum Pistachio Gelato. That is how I would describe it. Now, that could be something good or bad depending on, you know, you're looking at the price point. They're reminding me of each other. Now that I'm thinking about the way this smells, it reminds me of something, but there are definitely some differences where you can own both, but this is a beautiful release nonetheless. All right, so again, this one is King Side from the House of Mind Games. Next is from the House of Memoirs of a Perfume Collector, and you all know I have been raving about London. I have one that smells a little similar to me, but there are some differences, and this is another gorgeous Taïf Rose centric fragrance with a lot of geranium, and this is called Riyadh. And to me, the main differences I'm going to get is I'm picking up on something that wears a little bit more like fresh, bright, and spicy. Not that it's not sexy, it's just not quite as rose heavy and dark as London. So what I love about this one on my skin, it really wears with like this touch of powdery, and I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe just in the way that the musk is done, but I think if you have London, you may want to try Riyadh first, because they may be just a little bit too similar. London is very geranium, very rose, just 10 out of 10, but I think this one doesn't wear as aromatic and spicy. It just wears a little fresher in a sense. So Riyadh opens with notes of mandarin leaf, ylang ylang, and geranium. You have middle notes of vanilla flower, birch leaf, taif rose, tuberose, almond, and orange. And you have base notes of frankincense, white musk, patchouli, cedar, labdanum, cacao, cypress, and amber. Beautifully blended scent. When I put this on, it's giving me like queen vibes without a doubt. And I just think it's one that you should absolutely check out. So far, honey, the ones that I've smelled from this midnight collection, this midnight series, all amazing fragrances. So right now they do have this collection at Lucky Scent. Hopefully we start to see it in more retailers, but try this one because I think if you're a lover of rose, this is perfect for this time of year. Again, this is Riyadh, and this is from the house of Memoirs of a Perfume Collector. Next is not a new fragrance to the market. It's been around for quite a while now, at least several years. But when I smelled this in the Byredo store, I was like, where have you been all my life? I don't know where, but you're coming home. Well, when I get home, I'm gonna order you so I can get you discounted. And then she came home, all right? So this is 11th Hour. Oh my God, if you love spicy and you want something just sexy and unique and you love fig, 11th Hour is, you don't even have to like consider anything else. This is the one you need to get your nose on. And again, I just love the fact that you can get it at a discounter so you don't have to break the bank to smell like $1,000,000 this autumn. So 11th Hour opens with notes of bergamot and timber pepper. You have middle notes of plum, rum, fig, and carrot seeds. And you have base notes of cedar, cashmere wood, isoe super, tonka bean, olibanum, and labdanum. What I love about this is the way that this woody quality is approached, and it has so much fig, but not in an overly sweet figgy way. This is a fig that wears almost like, okay, she's right, she's not green and underripe, but she's not super sweet and overly ripe, which some fig scents can do that to where it wears creamy. This one just wears with a crispness to it, and the spices, the way the spice is done, like this is fall in a bottle. If you love fig and you're looking for fall in a bottle, 11th Hour is amazing. And the fact that they're mentioning plum and rum makes me understand why I think it's so sexy. When I smelled this in store, I didn't know what the notes were. All I knew was I loved it, but you all know. You know me, if you have been riding with me for at least the past year, we have plum, we have rum, she's equaling sexy, okay? And that's exactly how I would describe it. Beautiful 10 out of 10 spicy fig fragrance. 11th Hour, get it in your life because I'm telling you, Byredo did their big one with this one. Next is one of the most addictive, the most scrumptious oud fragrances I have ever smelled, okay? Sazfa, Forbidden Words, Bombay Gourmand is gourmand, and it is oud. And it is just, I could just sit here and sniff this until sun up, and then I'll do it again until sundown because this has got to be one of the most beautiful takes on oud with an addictive quality, and it is just, oh my God, it is mind-blowingly stunning. If you love caramel, you love oud, or if you're trying to like find the oud that actually works for you, please try this and check it out because this is just, it leaves me speechless every time I wear it and smell it. And I think if anything, if I could compare it to anything, we're talking about something that will be reminiscent of an oud bouquet, but they're not exactly the same. There are a lot of differences to where this one wears not as, I would say, not as overpowering, overwhelming. The oud is done in a much more refined way, and it's not going to be quite as sweet. But again, there are so many differences. Like this one has like this smooth, warm, spicy texture and quality to it. And this is just, I'm gonna say if I had to pick one, this is going to be superior. This is going to be superior, but let me give you the full note breakdown. So this one opens with rose, almond blossom, and sweet orange. You have middle notes of oud, caramel, cypriol, and havana. And you have base notes of vanilla, patchouli, labdanum, and cedar. So as I read off the notes, you see that there is way more going on in this fragrance than like an oud bouquet. But I just want to put you like in the mindset of, because it is rose, it is oud, and it is gourmand. So I can't help but to compare the two. But they are different fragrances without a doubt. So if you're thinking you're going to get something that really does like remind you of oud bouquet, like in a dupish way, or I don't really need both, I'm not saying that at all. Get your nose on this one. Scent Split has full bottles and decants. hence that is how I was able to get my nose on it. But baby, this right here just busts down 10 out of 10 oud. What you trying to smell like all fall and winter oud fragrance right here. This one is for the girlies, but honestly it's quite unisex because it is oudy. But 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10 oud fragrance. This one is again from the house of Sazava. This is Forbidden Words Bombay Gourmand. Pay attention when you're ordering because there are several forbidden words within a collection, but you want to make sure that you get the Bombay Gourmand. My love, my baby. Again, from the house of Sazava. Now this next one is also a gourmand, but this is going to be light-handed for a girl who wants the gourmand, okay? But she doesn't want it thick or heavy or overly sweet. She just wants something luxurious and a touch gourmand. And that's exactly how I would describe Saffron Gourmand. And no, this is not going to remind you of Baccarat. It is sweet, but it's not in a loud, like overhanded sweet way. It's almost like saffron and macaroons. Like this is a macaron in a bottle. If I could just paint the picture of what you're going to get, you know how you're not eating chocolate chip cookies or ice cream, you're eating a macaron. There's just a sophistication that comes with, okay, I'm having a dessert, but it's a French macaron. Like, okay, this is exactly what the scent is giving. Oh my God. So beautiful, but it's not going to be overpowering, just like the dessert. So this is from the house. It's not a new house, but this is my first from the brand. And this is Place de l'Elysée. I hope I'm saying that right, but this is really just beautiful. I sampled it, scent split again, sent the sample over full bottle, okay? They were so kind enough to send me over this bottle, and this is one I just can't wait to enjoy. And honestly, if you love gourmands, you can enjoy this one year round because it wears with such an airiness. So this fragrance has notes of toffee, almond, vanilla, milk, sandalwood, and cedar. The almond, like this is just, if you love almond and you want something that makes you smell like a dessert, but in a frothy, light way, this is it, okay? Absolutely beautiful. Again, this is Saffron Gourmand from Place des l'Elysées. All right, guys, we made it to 15. Last but certainly not least is a return from last year's fall fragrances video. Y'all, when I sampled this, I absolutely loved it. Had to circle around and pay full price for a full bottle, but I have not been wearing it much since last fall. That's going to change today. This is Delphinus, and this is from the house of Creed. This is a really warm and comforting powdery fragrance, and this is going to be perfect for this time of year because if it's still warm outside, it's not going to suffocate you or be too much, you know, for an ambery scent with touches of leather, and it's still going to give you that comfort that you seek as it starts to cool down in fall. So this one is quite unique because it's powdery, and the powdery quality that you get from that heliotrope and orris is really sharing like a balance with amber and vanilla. There's a touch of sexy because you have leather mentioned in the base, and just like a pop of pink pepper or black pepper that I think they mentioned in the top notes. But this one is a really beautiful Creed scent, and I think if you're looking for something that is all about, you know, that powdery orris, if you enjoy that note and you're looking for a vanilla, classy, sophisticated, quite long wearing, then I think that Delphinus would be a beautiful addition to your collection this fall. Again, very unisex. I don't think it leans one way or the other, quite frankly, but it is a truly gorgeous orris fragrance. All right, so that is it from me, you guys. 15 amazing fall fragrances. Please drop me a line below and let me know fragrances that you are really looking forward to wearing this autumn. It has been real. Be sure that you are subscribed. Let me know what intrigued you on this list, and I love you all, YouTube. We'll catch you guys on the next one.